He's about to enter, or he's right in the middle of right now, I guess, his 12th season as being the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. He is Pete Carroll, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. Rich, what's up, brother?
I'm better for talking to you. What does a mid-May 2021 look like for you? Just finished up with the rookie minicamp, right? That's basically where you are and everything?
Yeah. It's a little bit different. It's different than last year, and last year was different than the year before. So we just work our way through as things are, have changed some. And but things are going well. We think we maxed out which we could in the draft. We like our guys and excited about the young pups that we're working with. We're deep into Zoom right now. We're in Zoom land, and our coaches and our players are exceedingly adept at it now, and we're getting a lot out of it again as we did last year. So it's a new day. It's a new day.
So what do you expect of seeing players physically in front of you? What is your level of expectation over the next several weeks on that front, Pete?
Well, we'll see more. We'll see more than we have now. We got 30-something guys here now working, and we'll see more guys as we move along. We'll work towards our mini camp coming up in the middle of June, and that'll be the culmination of it. So I'm hoping that we'll increase our numbers as we go, and I know our guys are working really hard. Everybody's really dedicated to that, and they're getting together where they can and when they can, and so there's a lot of good positive stuff happening.
What do you make of the conversation on that front in recent days, that last year, because of the pandemic and so much of off-season work was done by Zoom, and the regular season looked like any other season, that maybe the in-person work year-round is something that is not necessary, that it's too much, and that things should be kind of the way they are right now? What do you, as a head coach in the NFL now in a 12th year on that front, with just Seattle, say about that?
Well, I think it's a worthwhile discussion because it's on the top of everybody's mind, and in particularly the players, and they're trying to figure out what's best. What we know is when it's equal, it comes out fine. And last year, nobody had off season. We had no preseason games, and the season really measured up to be a comparable season to the ones in the past. This is happening a little different this time around, and it's not within the control of anybody to keep everybody on the same numbers and days and work load and all of that. So this is going to be a little bit different, and we need to see how that pans out. But when it's controlled and it's equal for all members, then it'll work out fine. And so I think our players learned that, and our coaches saw that last year too. We didn't think it was the ideal, but yet as long as it's relative and the competitive landscape is the same, then it works out fine.
Pete Carroll here on the Rich Eisen Show. So let's get into Russ and his conversation that he's been having publicly in a manner that we haven't really heard from him, about his level of protection and needing that upgraded, and his desire to still be with you and in Seattle. How would you rate your relationship with Russell Wilson as you and I are talking right here in the middle of May? Pete Carroll.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's really old news to talk about this because it's been such a long time. Rich, the little bit that he said carried so much airtime that it became bigger than life. Throughout the whole process, Russell, we've always been connected. We've always been talking. We've never not been in communication, and we weren't at all at this time either. And a couple things that came out got magnified, and the questions came out, and there was a couple things. He was frustrated when he was talking, just like any of us can sometimes emphasize something that's on the top of our mind, and it can be played differently than it really played itself out. We've had a really good off-season of working, and there was an ongoing media discussion that I did not take part in. John and I did not. We refused to be party to that. And Russ did what he could once he saw it happening to stay as quiet as he could, because it was going to play and have a life of its own anyway. So what it amounted to was I think a refocusing, making sure that we were on the same page, making sure that we were clear so that we could withstand any of the scrutiny that would come towards us. And we did that. And so we've had a good off season, and we're cranking. He's fired up and about his team. He's fired up about his coaching staff. He's fired up about the season coming up. And he, just as he knows how to do, he's been competing his butt off to be right and ready and be on point. So it's gone very well, even though that discussion lasted so long, and you had certain guys that just decided to keep the story going, and they just wanted to keep feeding it, and that's that. It really was much bigger than it was for us internally, and I thought we handled it really well.
Well, the reason why I bring it up, I guess, with you now is you and I had not spoken since then, and that was such a conversation.
My bad.
Then.
Okay, my bad.
No. I'm just no. But I understand. But it's just like, okay, I thought you did that. That page had been turned, but the book is still open in terms of a national conversation with just quarterbacks who are.
It shouldn't be.
Well,
it shouldn't be. In terms of up here in Seattle, it shouldn't be. But I get it that guys are doing it, and I know Aaron's been real vocal, and whatever's going on there, it keeps this discussion alive, and so it's fun for the media, and they do what they got to do with it, and it's okay.
Well, you do bring up where I guess I was going next with Aaron in Wisconsin, and the concept of hey, a quarterback should have a say in who's on the roster, and certainly about the way an offense is run. And how much is Russell involved in all of that with you and the rest of the staff? Now there's a new offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron being brought in right now. How much is that, if you're willing to pull back the curtain on that he is involved in that conversation, Pete Carroll? Yeah,
well, Rich, first let me say, in a real general sense, you either compete or you're not. And that means that if there's information that you can have and you have access to, and it can help you make choices and decisions that you make, I've always been talking to players. There's been guys over the years, I've had them in my office, or I've called them on the phone, or now we do our texting. There's something that comes up. They've got information. They've got special knowledge. I've never hesitated to do that. Russ, having been here for 10 years now, he's been around us a long time, and he's got a good perspective, as does Bobby Wagner. And we're fortunate to have Dwayne Brown. And guys, they have opinions that I don't have to act on the information, but I want to access the information. I'm okay with that, So I've always been talking to guys. So how much does he have now? He doesn't have any more than he's ever had. I've respected the heck out of Russ for all of the reasons that he has proven he's worthy. And so when I get a chance to get something from him that can help me out, I'm going to him. I don't hesitate to do that. And I'll do it with any of our guys. Doug Baldwin was a guy. Richard Sherman was guys. I would talk to those guys about scheme, personnel, situations, times, social issues. I mean, you name it, and that's the kind of program that we have run around here. So I don't think it should be overplayed, and I don't think it should be misstated either. Russ has a lot of good information, and so I go to him when I think it's appropriate, and he'll bring ideas at times to me just to try them out. We have that kind of relationship where it's okay to do that, but I'm not closing it off to anybody. And I can't tell you how much I talk to Bobby Wagner, because he's been around here 10 years too. And those guys have something they have great insights, and so that's just competing to me. It's no different. So.
Pete Carroll here on the Rich Eisen Show. Shane Waldron comes from here in Los Angeles, from the Rams. Is that the similar offense? Are we going to see something similar where you'll see a bunch of similar sets, but you have no earthly idea what play is going to be run from it? Is that what's being brought to let Russ cook, if you will, to Seattle right now?
Well,
Pete?
Well, we've been through. I don't know about the cook part of it. Okay, that's somebody else's deal. That's not mine. But we've run a lot of offense here over the years, and we've done a lot of stuff, and we've been a productive team for a lot of years. And Russell has been a highly productive quarterback, and efficient, explosive. He's been able to run with the ball. He had almost 500 yards again last year. And there's a lot of stuff here that we have, and that's Shane's challenge, is to put all that together with this marvelous background that the guys have coming out of their history and their system. I go all the way back, Rich, you look all the way back this goes back to Mike Shanahan and Alex Gibbs, where this offensive concept started. When I was at SC in year 2, I had Alex Gibbs come in and help me install our run game and the play passes off of that. I mean, that's 20-something years ago, which was all because of the respect that I had for Mike Shanahan and the background of what they had put together coming out of the Bill Walsh West Coast system. And I think really the godfather of this thing is Bill Walsh, but yet the relationships that have been powerful with Mike Shanahan. And so what I'm saying is they have influenced Kyle, they've influenced Sean down in L.A., so many guys all over the league now with a real discipline about their style of coaching, and that applies to a lot of different schemes. So that's what we're really excited about Shane bringing in is the mentality of how to make things really sharp and really precise and really clean and varied as well, and then adapt it to our people and our QB and all of that. And we're having a blast. I mean, I'm having so much fun because I feel like I'm more connected to the heart of where it all comes from, and Shane doesn't even know. I mean, he's such a young guy. I mean, he knows who Mike Shanahan is, but he has never really, have the direct influence as much as a lot of guys. But it's really exciting for me, and I love tapping into it because I've been a student of it for a long time.
You certainly have, Pete Carroll, and age is just a number. You know where I'm going with this too. You're hitting the big 7-0.
What are you thinking of retiring? Are you thinking of winding it up?
No, because it blows me away. I remember when you were the head coach of the Jets and the Patriots, and people were wondering if you were the right coach because you're playing basketball with the guys. You know what I mean? Like, and clearly,
Really?
I mean, you remember all that stuff, I'm sure, and you've been at this for quite a long time. So I guess my question for you is how much longer do you want to do it? You sound like you're having a blast, but how much, like what it's still a very demanding job. So how long do you want to keep doing this, Pete Carroll?
What are you saying, Rich? It's no more demanding today than it was, the last 10 years of it. So I find the job really fun, like you said, and I enjoy the challenge of it, and I'm excited about it every day. I'm fired up about the young guys and the old guys and the coaches and the whole. There's nothing that the competition of it. There's nothing that I'm not fired up about. And so why would I set numbers on it? I've said this before that David Brooks wrote one time about he declared how to deal with this question of when are you going to wind up your career with taking a 5-year approach to it. And you look at 5 years, and in 5 years, we'll ask that question and figure it out. Well, I got 5 more years every year, So,
Sure.
I'm not even concerned about it at all. I'm just having fun doing it, and I want to do it really well and want to win as much as we possibly can. And so that consumes everything that we have, and I don't feel like there's a gauge on the tank right now, like how much I got left in there. So I'm just pretty pumped up about it, staying in good shape and working hard, and my family's supporting it, and so we're having a blast.
No doubt.
We got to win, man.
No, I know.
We got to win.
No,
so
I hear you, and that
if we keep doing that, then.
And plus, you've got a tremendous, roster of players. I mean, one of them being, and this will help keep you, engaged as well, no doubt about it. Not as if you need that at all, but DK Metcalf running a 100-meter was something that caught so many people's attention, and he's so dynamic. He is so unique. He is so built. I mean, my God, it is something else. What next step do you think he can take? Because zero to year one was something else. Last year was breathtaking. What do you think this can look like for DK in your new offense this year?
Well, I think the one of the descriptive words you said was dynamic. That to me, I hear that word. There's nothing physical about that other than what influences the thought of what he represents as a total person. This is an extraordinary young man. He's a fascinating guy, and it's not, everybody gets attracted to the physical stuff. Well, that just happens to be, but he's recognized, Rich, that he's got an opportunity to do something really special, and he's not going to miss it. And he's going to go as far as he's got to go, push as hard as he's got to push, spend as much clarity of thinking and mind time and mentality, mindfulness towards it, so that he can max it out to a point where I worry about. He puts too much on himself in that regard, because he's a marvelous player, and he's a really bright football player too, and competitor. As you just saw, look at how he was able to apply his skills and his background in such a limited background in track, and look like that. And just be competitive, and just in the race, give him a couple more finishes under his belt. He might have been a little bit looser, a little bit smoother. He might have been right in the front of that thing. He wasn't far enough behind to do anything but to scare you, that he could have. What's next? I just happened to be texting with him just a night ago, and he was talking about some people that he's talking with that are are starting to talk about some other things and some other choices. He's got a big enough mind and a big enough awareness that he's able to encompass a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna boost him up and pump him to wherever he wants to go and follow really his lead on where this career takes him. But it's going to be more than football. He's going to have a lot more to offer the world as he goes on, and I hope he can stay in good health and just keep enjoying the fruits of it and just follow it along. It's going to be a terrific story to follow.
You've certainly piqued my interest. He had me at hello too when at the combine when he's crying, talking to his mom after he worked out. With the decisions that he made, with his neck and the injuries and I'm all about distance traveled and journeys. I mean, his is fascinating to me. And then he runs down Buda Baker, for crying out loud. I mean, my God, he really is somebody who I can't wait to see in the next year. And before I let you go, Pete Carroll, you mentioned Bobby Wagner a few times. I think he's going to have a gold jacket one day. Is it possible? I read, if you tell me it's true or not, I think you were quoted as saying, is it true, Richard Sherman, you've been chatting with him, it's possible to maybe get a Legion of Boomer back in the mix? Is that possible for you?
Well, if I respond in such a manner here, that would be the only thing that comes out of this interview right now that we had. But Richard and I have been in contact over the years, and we continue to be, and I know he's working hard and looking for an opportunity, and he's got a lot of things going in his world too that are really exciting as well. And you never know. We're always competing in working at stuff, and Sherm knows that. And I really, at this point, I don't have that in our plans.
Okay.
But yet it's never out of my mind. And I love our guys for all of the time we spent together and all that we went through together, the ups, the downs, the challenges. It was just life, that we've lived, and we've shared a life in this world of football. And I'm really grateful for the relationships of those guys that have played in the past. And I love them, and I'll be there for them at any time that they need me, and as best I can, and because they've given me everything that they ever could too. So it's a great relationship. I'm fond of all those guys, and if ever there's a chance, look at what happened with Marshawn a couple years back. Man, That was freaking awesome. When he came back and almost scored the winning touchdown, and come on, he scored 3 times in the last couple of games, or whatever it was, 4 times. That was such a marvelous story. We were inches away from that being a storybook, and who knows? You never know what's going to happen. I haven't heard from Marshawn in a while, but that could be just as much of a story as any of them. So,
no doubt.
I love our guys, and hope they're doing well, and we'll look after them forever.
Well, Pete, I appreciate the time. There's one last question I've never asked you. I wanted to ask you, so I'm going to do it. How many pieces of gum do you go through during a game? How many pieces of gum do you go through during a four-quarter game?
That's not the first time that question has been asked, but I never really count, Rich.
Come on, give me an estimate. What do you got?
But since the masks came in, masks really took something away from it. Because that thing chomping up and down just don't get it, And so,
sure.
But
yes.
But
yeah.
I'm at least a 4-packer. Okay, I'm at least a 4-packer.
Now, what are you chewing though? What's your choice? What do you got? What do you do?
I'm a bubble gum. I've been a bubble gum guy for a long time, all the way back to my boy back at Dominguez back at SC. Man, we've been double yumming the whole
bubble yumming
the whole time.
Okay, so, just bubble gum flavor, mint. What do you got for me, Pete? Just it doesn't matter. Just
just bubble gum. Just straight pink.
Straight pink.
Straight pink 4-packer.
I love it.
It ain't nothing like when you get. It's not just one. It's when you can get 2 and 3. You get to that 4th one in your jaw at a time.
Yeah, right.
Now you're really living now.
Pete, thank you so much
I hope
for
you
the
can
time.
Edit this,
No, there's no editing.
Yeah,
Come on,
no. Edit whatever you want out of it.
No, this is great. That's going to be the headline out of all of it. What we discussed, Pete. It'll be the bubble gum. Thanks for the time.
Hey, Susie. See ya.
Well, you got it. You bet. That's the one and only Pete Carroll, head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.